Okay, got it. Tonight. Thank you for joining. This is Covered in Film. Welcome. It's a couple of dudes who up to no good, trying to rate some movies
How
in
to
your
make
neighborhood.
trouble. That's right.
And there's always spoilers. There's always spoilers. What were the
Yeah,
best
although
at?
if you haven't seen this movie yet, shame on you.
You're an idiot.
Grossed over $1 billion worldwide.
Well,
That's billion with a B.
is that is that true?
Yeah. Look it up on Wikipedia. If it's on
Okay.
Wikipedia, it's true.
Anyways, so we will be reviewing 2016's Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
Mm.
It's what is it? It's a prequel to A New Hope. It introduces a lot of
Yeah,
new
it actually
characters.
is. Yep.
Yeah. And then it kills
And
them
some
all.
old ones. I'm just finding out. Some old ones as well.
I
I didn't
guess,
know
yeah.
Saw Gerrera showed up in any other visual Star Wars medium, but
But he
apparently he was
does.
animated too.
Yep.
I think that's one of the things about what's the newest one? Not the Mandalorian, but there's a newer Star Wars show. Oh, the Ashoka. Like all of
Shaka.
those characters are from Rebels.
Yeah. Have you watched it? That show's
No, unfortunately, I'm
terrible.
of the age where I don't give a shit about a cartoon Star Wars Rebels
No, not that.
designed for kids.
Ashoka.
I've watched 3 or 4 episodes.
It's awful.
It's not great.
No. I just hate the woke. Let's make this movie about being angsty teen who dyes their hair and wants
She's
to.
that specific character you're talking about, the angsty teen, horribly acted. Just
Yeah,
just bad. But unfortunately, Mary Elizabeth Winstead is not great as the rebel general or whatever she's supposed to be either. But Rosario Dawson, I feel like, is actually solid, but she doesn't have a lot to do. She's just got to be silent and look cool with a lightsaber. But
yeah.
check,
This is
did it.
kind of. What's that?
Check. She's
Check.
got that.
She's got. Yeah, she's got something. That's for sure. Save it
That's
for
for
the
sure.
show.
Ellen Ray
Um,
Davies. No, we're on the show. We started recording
this movie. It's a
this
much
movie.
darker tone than the other Star Wars movies, and it fixes some plot holes that people complained about for years. So I thought that was a good thing. What do
You
you
think
think
so?
of this movie?
What
When
plot
I
hole did
said
it fix that people complained about for years?
the Death Star, how a bunch of kids destroyed it, and like why would they have an exhaust vent that blows up the middle of it,
Oh,
and
right,
like
right, right.
such a glaring, stupid mistake when they can blow up planets, kind of thing.
Mm, yep. It should have a defense system to stop things from being able to infiltrate it, you mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
why put all that focus into one big gun? I guess they figure they're TIE fighters. Anyway, yeah, it's I don't know. I think this is probably the second best Star Wars movie at this point. Um, it's phenomenal. I was like, oh, I gotta watch it again. I've seen it so many times, and then I start watching it, and I'm like, dun 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 dun. Anyway, I'm into it. This is a great movie. I think it's probably got the best cinematography of any Star Wars. The when the ship comes around the land and they pan down and they view it from the little natural, cliff ring, and then they pop back up to see the dust go up and it actually touched down. I was like, that's a beautiful shot. It's all done on a computer, but that's a beautiful shot. And then the whole Jeddah explosion escape is just so cool to watch, and the battle in the last hour is phenomenally choreographed. Just so good, so good. So
I think
yeah,
it's the
I
best. That battle is the best representation to me of like a hodgepodge rebel alliance fleet
Mm-hmm.
taking on what is a strategically viable option for them to take out, but still be a good fight, you
Right.
know?
The fact that it starts on the ground with these unauthorized dudes, word gets back, the fleet gets dispatched, a little bit of a force makes it under the shield, and the rest of the force has to fight in space. It's like, yeah, land, air, and space. It's amazing. It's phenomenal. Do the first shot of the AT-AT showing up when Chirrut realizes it's coming, and you just see its face in the smoke. It's done so well. So well. Yeah.
So what's your score?
Mm. Probably give it like a 92. Oh, not like that. I think this is a solid A. I like I said, second best Star Wars movie, done so well that it almost doesn't need to be a Star Wars movie. It can just be a great fucking movie. But the fact that it is Star Wars is very satisfying.
I agree.
Only only one fatal flaw to the entire plan, and
But
that's that she counted on other people.
yeah, I mean, I don't think this movie has any flaws, honestly. But for me, I'm probably at an A plus. Am I lagging or are you?
I think my phone just kicked it out.
Oh yeah, your video looks very funny right now, but I can hear you. Um,
Huh. Okay.
so I give
The
this
Wi-Fi
movie.
went down apparently.
Yeah, there you go. I give this
It
movie an A
My
plus.
house
It's
just crashed.
it's definitely my favorite Star Wars movie. I really enjoy the darker tone. It brings it to, I don't know, it provides more realism to me, which when there's more realism in a movie that's obviously fake, it's easier for me to get sucked into that world and
Hmm.
enjoy the world even more. And I think it enhances the other movies by kind of developing that plot point and developing, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. Many people died to bring us this information, like
Right. I
all
think that's
that.
the
And
biggest one, right? That quote from Mon Mothma of the many people died to bring us this info. It's like the heaviness that it gives that, there's a pause in A New Hope. And I'm sure he had ideas about things, but it really brings a lot of gravitas to that. And then, yeah, it does some pretty great stuff. The whole relay of getting the copy of the plans through the ship as Vader is just tearing it apart. Uh, really fucking smart to have it be, here's how we're gonna end the movie is this chase down of Vader after the plans. It's phenomenal.
yeah, there's some pretty cool cinematic scenes in Star Wars games that I think come close to that. But that
Yeah.
scene of Vader going through the ship and just decimating everyone is probably the coolest thing I've ever seen in Star Wars.
Dude, when you don't even see him and then his red lightsaber comes up,
Yeah.
it's yeah, an extremely iconic shot that was like, why haven't they done this before? I feel like there's been enough hours of Star Wars footage that somebody should have thought of this shot, but it's phenomenal. Yeah.
Well, and I feel like they've never taken Star Wars to that level of, like, they have lightsaber fights all the time, and they started out with Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, which was like so long ago, it looks nothing like this. But now they've got these
Right.
new ones and they're very acrobatic and showy. And this was just gritty and scary and powerful. And he's
Yeah.
just decimating these dudes and they're screaming for their lives. And they're throwing everything they have at him. And he's just, nope. And it
Mm.
looks
When he pulls
awesome.
the guns.
Yeah, you
Pulls all
really
the
feel the
guns.
power of the Force in
And
there.
then he's
So
just like, now what? Watch this. Yes, pretty good. It makes Vader seem very cool. Director Krennic the whole time, however, you're kind of like, this guy's just a little bitch. Everybody called him a bitch. Everybody said
everybody.
so.
Um, how much worse off is the Star Wars universe for missing out on more of K2SO?
It would have been really cool to have him recur. Yeah.
I
I
mean,
find Alan Tudyk raises the level of any movie he's in.
uh-huh.
This one, he really did a great job of being that kind of android with an edge. It reminds me of like an Interstellar when they've got the robots that you can program their personalities to have them less annoying to be around. Uh, yeah,
Dude, I
that's a
feel
great
like
character.
he's got he brings the movie like a whole letter grade up. That
I,
character alone. It adds so much like depth and dimension and humor without detracting from the gritty realism and that kind of darker tone I was talking
yeah,
about.
his
Like
his demise is like one of the most
meaningful.
sad deaths in a movie that's got a lot of people dying.
Yeah, yeah, you feel really I mean you feel the end of this movie you're just feeling bad. You're getting hit over and over with these deaths. And when that robot dies, I think that's the most emotional one because he's
I would
really
probably agree, honestly.
really going out and like they make you kind of hate him a little bit in a funny way the whole time, and then he just grows on you and grows on you, and then at the end he's like, you're my best friend and I'm gonna do this for
Mm-hmm.
you guys, get out of here, and goes down fighting, getting picked apart.
Yep. Yep. Pretty awesome.
So Force Awakens came out in 2015 and introduced Rey and Finn, and then this
Uh-huh.
movie comes out the year later. Are Jen and Ray just the same person? Like,
No, but they're, I mean, kind of orphans. I mean, Ray doesn't have as many problems with the law. I feel like she's just surviving. Whereas Jen is, you see her in a prison for the beginning of the movie after her time with Saw. Good old Saw Gerrera.
Saw Gerrera. It's funny
I
that
like
they
it
got
better as
the
one name.
Saw guy to be in this movie and
Did
didn't
they?
have him make puzzles.
Hmm. Right.
But
He's
yeah, what did you
gone
think
beyond
about
that.
the characters in this movie? Aside from K2SO, who's your favorite?
Aside from K2SO, I mean, I really like funny enough, I think Saw Gerrera is pretty well crafted. When they show him come in, he's got two bionic feet. Um,
You come
Other than
here
that, I
to
mean,
kill me? Me?
me,
And
yeah, I
burn me
mean,
alive?
Mads Mikkelsen isn't bad. He's not on screen a lot. He's a little, I don't know, cliche when he is on screen, but he's decent. Uh,
I
the
really like
pilot
him.
Riz Ahmed,
I really like Mads Mikkelsen as an actor,
me
and he
too.
could have been like I don't think he had the opportunity to really bring it in this role, but he did fine.
No, he's exposition. That's almost all he does is bring exposition to the film.
Yes. So who else were you saying? You were in the middle of saying somebody
Oh,
else?
Riz Ahmed, the guy who plays the pilot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He's
he's good and stuff. Have you watched The Sound of Metal?
no, I haven't. Is that the
Yeah.
deaf movie?
Yeah, he goes deaf in it.
Yeah.
He actually, it's shot and the sound editing on it's really good. I found that movie to be pretty great.
I think Cassian's probably my favorite character. I think
Yeah,
he's like the feel of this movie. He embodies it. He's in the Star Wars world, but he's making it darker right in the beginning when he's talking to the dude, he's trying to get the information, and like, I'm not going to be able to climb out of here. I'm injured. He's just like, oh, calm down, man, and then just shoots him. You're like, wow, this isn't the Star Wars I'm used to.
that does kind of kick off like, oh, this is gonna be different, and also tells you like this guy's not fucking around. We're not with somebody who's like, I'm gonna save everybody. He's the guy who's got to get it done for the rebels. I feel like he's something you haven't seen a lot for the Rebel Alliance and other Star Wars movies. They're always very high and mighty and hoity-toity, and are all for justice. And he's like, well, yeah, I'm trying to get there, but if I've got to, you know, throw a sack of kittens in the river, I'm gonna have to do it.
Right. Yeah, I thought he did that really well. I have you watched Andor?
I haven't. Gabe's talked to me about it. I know Diego Luna is in it.
Yeah, it follows him again.
Yeah,
There's, I mean, I'd say he's the main character, even though there's other very lead supporting roles that are recurring. But I think it's kind of like his story leading up to being in this movie. And
yeah,
I, aside from the first season of Mandalorian, I think it's the best Star Wars show that they've put out so far. And
yeah.
it kicks off very early with something that's like, wow, this guy plays on a different level than everyone else in Star Wars. Just kills
Mm,
people
yeah.
and lives a very different life. I like the Asian dude and the Samoan, or whatever they
Yeah,
were.
I mean, I like Donnie Yen as an actor, but I find them to be a little heavy-handed. I mean, it's good. He does some good things. When what's the guy's actual name? Win Jang, who plays Baze Malbus, like Malbus. Isn't that's not a bus you want to ride, Malbus. That's malware bus. Anyway, uh yeah, they're all right. Not my favorite though. Speaking of Mads Mikkelsen though, real quick, I had thought when I was watching it this time, like they find him on the farm, kill the wife, the daughter escapes, they take him prisoner. The span of time where they basically transport him back, he's going to be a reluctant, prisoner for a while that they're probably going to have to screw with. He's going to go through some minor mind torture and then eventually figure out a plan to join in and, like he says in this movie, make himself indispensable and then lay the groundwork for his revenge. That would probably be a pretty good, maybe not a full movie. A comic book might work really good, but that whole like turning around after everything is taken from him and deciding, oh, I am going to help them get this to where it needs to be so that I can get back at them. I thought that would actually be a really good little tidbit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Anywho,
Yes, I think his whole plot, right in the beginning of the movie, um, him and his wife and everything, and him agreeing to go back, was all very interesting. And I
mm-hmm.
would have liked to have watched more of it. Actually, that could be another prequel if they wanted to do it. What about Peter Cushing coming back after 26 years being dead? 26, I think 28,
Right.
uh to be Admiral Tarkin and Like, was this the first movie where they really did that? I think it was, right? Where
I
they
think it was, yeah, where they successfully had a this isn't really heavy CGI, although you watch it now and it's like, yeah, it is. But yeah, I mean, pretty good job. This movie had $265 million budget, making it one of the most expensive films ever made. And that's certainly one of the reasons why we got to see young Carrie Fisher. We got to see this dude back alive, and then all of the spaceships. Yeah, it's pretty good job.
pretty good job.
What did this
Speaking
movie
of
do wrong? I don't even know.
speaking of budgets,
Budget.
and grossing,
No, I
I
didn't
looked up
make it. I already told you. Thanks, Russ. Rub it in.
the
Oh, what?
the we're talking about this movie. Uh
Oh,
Highest grossing Star Wars movies. Did you spend any time looking that up?
I didn't. Once I saw that this made over 1 billion, I thought, well, this has got to be it. There hasn't been one better than this that at this, 2016, like I guess adjusted for inflation, maybe episode 4. But I don't know, what's the highest grossing Star Wars film?
The highest grossing Star Wars movie is Force Awakens.
Is it really?
Yeah.
What
And
did it do? Like
what
1.5?
you want to know what number 2 is? It's The Last Jedi.
Which
Oh
you
no.
loved, if I recall. Oh wait, no.
No,
No.
I actually think Rise of Skywalker was the worst of the three sequels.
Yeah.
But The Last Jedi was right there. I I
Yes, 8
wanted
and 9 both.
yeah. But you know which one actually has the least grossing? It's Empire.
Uh is it Empire?
Yeah. Right
That is
after
fucking crazy.
right after Solo.
Oh my god. That's sad. That makes
Given
me
none of
very
this
sad. That's the best one.
I know that you were going to say that. But
What?
this is from Box Office Mojo, and I think it might be domestic only. But if it is, then America really sucks. But those are the numbers. Read them and weep.
Dude, somebody spilled it that he's Luke's father, and people are like, "Oh, I don't want to go see the big twist now. It doesn't matter." Real good. Just keep that shit under wraps.
That's probably what it was. Yeah.
Yep.
Any other
After Solo,
any other characters
Solo,
or
a almost universally panned Star Wars film, Solo,
it
they had to
is
bring in Ron Howard to
it's
get that
pretty
movie
awful.
completed.
Solo
It's not that
is
bad.
Solo?
It's not that bad. Yeah.
I mean,
What's so bad about it?
it's better than The Last Jedi and Rise of the Skywalker.
I would have to agree. Both
I
those were
would
bad.
say
You know what I
okay,
think of
I'd
every
say
now and then is I think about Luke drinking from that giant bird mammal's nipples, drinking the milk. And I'm like, why did this have to be in this movie? It like
dude,
if I
and
start
Mark
to
Hamill
point
just
at a
does it.
moment where they are awful, that's right there. Start there.
Mark Hamill just does it too. And it looks
Yep.
gross and he makes it look extra gross.
Right.
Gets
Yeah.
it all
Yeah.
over
He has
himself.
no shame to be like, "Nom, nom, nom, nom."
Didn't he say something about the movies being bad or like hinted at them on
Well,
some talk
he
show he was on?
I recall the quote I heard him say was that wasn't his Luke Skywalker. That was Ryan Johnson's Luke Skywalker, and that's not how he would have played it. But that was the person who was hired to deliver that movie. So he went in and did his job as an actor, which can apply to the last two movies every time I see them.
Hmm. So I mean, J.J. Abrams directed the last three, and he was like considered pretty, in my mind, talented and amazing
Yeah. I
before
mean, number
those
seven's
came out.
pretty good.
Number seven is pretty good. I'm glad that it does hold the ranking for top grossing because I can get behind that. But
Mhm.
the next two, what happened to this man? Did Disney just get a hold of him too much? Or like
Too
what?
many notes.
Too many notes. But this
What are your
movie,
thoughts? Go ahead. Sorry.
this movie was directed by Gareth Edwards. We've done
Uh-huh.
one of his movies before, the remake of Godzilla. Should he have
Mm.
just done all of them? I think he should have.
I mean, they'd be so different. They'd be
Very.
so different. It's all, I think that the money grab for kids really is cemented in episode one. And then there's a backlash. It's funny. I couldn't help but think like when they're showing the planet scenes, when they're following down to from large buildings where shit's in the sky and they're coming down, and here they are on the street level in the scums or whatever. I was like, God, this looks so much better than the Clone Wars or Attack of the Clones, which I watched over and over again, thinking, "Oh God, finally a good Star Wars movie again." And then there's one point where I'm like, "Oh wait, this is actually an awful movie." Episode 2 is really bad. Anyway,
I
this
did
movie's
like
so fucking good.
I did like the episode two bridge the gap between where the hell does the Empire come from? Like, how does it get its army all of a sudden? That's the one thing I liked about episode two. In episode three, I really like that opening sequence. That space battle was a badass
Oh yeah,
space
with
battle.
Grievous.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Going
agreed.
to what's that? What's the main Coruscant? Actually,
Mm-hmm.
like to have the balls to go to Coruscant and abduct and like try and get out of there. Just that was an
Right.
awesome space battle.
Pretty great.
2016. Other movies that came out in 2016. I think this is the best movie that came out after having looked at it. But
What
I
are
do
your
really,
contenders?
really like this movie. Captain America Civil War.
I
That was
mean, I feel like that's when you point to just nonstop fighting in a movie, that's one. Although I still probably watch it once a year.
the fight scene where Bucky and Cap are beating up Iron Man is
Mm-hmm.
pretty awesome.
And then Hulkbuster Iron Man is like, oh, I've
Mm-hmm.
wanted to see that. Like that's the entire reason I wanted to see that movie.
Yeah, Hulkbuster Iron Man is amazing.
Yep.
Finding Dory was another one,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
I mean, it's not necessarily like the type of movie I seek out, but Finding Nemo was a phenomenon. And
absolutely.
Finding Dory, it did well.
Yeah, it was a movie.
Yep.
Yep.
Manchester by the Sea. That's where Casey Affleck won Best Actor. Did you watch it? I did not.
Is that the one where he sets a fire that kills some people? I don't remember Manchester by the Sea. No.
It's an American drama film written in, no, I don't know. Uh, Moonlight won Best Picture. Did you watch Moonlight?
I don't think I saw Moonlight.
Yeah, me neither. Meh.
Yeah.
2016. That's what I got on 2016. Did you find
I
anything
guess I
else?
was busy 2016. Yeah, movies sound like they're definitely within the last, 10, 15 years, some years where it was like, what are we doing with our culture and movies. Letting other people in to have a moment, I guess.
Yeah. You got any trivia?
So I says to him, no, unfortunately, like I was saying, there is a lot of trivia for this movie on IMDb, but had to watch the movie tonight and was a little pressed for time. So trivia, Alan Tudyk was Wash in Firefly. If you haven't seen Firefly, watch it. Serenity. Jeez. Come on, Wash.
He does
He's
die
great.
though. So
Ugh, but he also dies in this. Felicity Jones, I saw her in On the Basis of Sex, where she plays a young Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who points out that women and men should be treated equally under the law.
he has a
Recommend that? I don't know. Diego Luna at Tu Mama Tambien. Why not? Go for it. It's fucking crazy. Uh, Actually, he was in Open Range, which we've covered. One of my favorites. Whenever I think of Diego Luna, I think of him shouting, "I apologize for that." Yep. None of this is actually trivia. It's all just me talking about what I think of when I watch this movie. I'm glad the guy in the beginning got shot. He was annoying.
I just Googled Daisy Ridley versus Felicity Jones, which is
Okay.
Ray and
Fight.
Jin. And there's a lot of side by side pictures. She is the exact same. They are just the same person and character. I stand
I don't
by
know.
it.
I like Ray a little more.
What?
I really like Jen in this. I find her flawed character to be great, but I don't know. Ray's pretty great. She's cool. She's a scavenger. I think that's what I like. 1/4 portion.
All right. Well, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. And
Yep. I have nothing bad to say about this movie.
tune in next time while we rate